Hey guys, welcome back. Happy Sunday morning. Let's do a quick review and then we'll get into some good information here. Okay, so throughout this year, they had to get a new prime minister and they got him in. His goal and his objective was to create and achieve stability within the government and the country of Iraq, okay? He did that politically. He got rid of some people, put new people in, put a new central bank governor and all that. Okay, after he achieved stability, they traveled around putting international agreements, MOUs in place between Europe, U.S., many different countries and companies, okay? They were also taken off of their naughty lists between the U.S., Europe, and the UN. Okay, once they had all those reform costs in place, then they started to position the money. One of the steps in positioning the money is the rate change, but they needed to know the cost of the reforms first. So that's what they worked on through the borrowing law. Now we're at the point of the borrowing law. The borrowing law is the last step or delay before the rate change. So far, they have done all three readings on the borrowing law. I told you last week the next step we needed to see is the president has to sign off on it. He will most likely do so this week, as I have told you, by Saturday the 21st, okay? Again, we are looking to see the president sign off on the budget law sometime next week, okay? When they do that, they can officially change the rate at any time. Now, there is one more thing happening around that borrowing law. I'm not sure how many have caught on to it. I'm not letting the cat out of the bag yet. But Iraq is semi-revealing to you through this step when they plan to change the rate. Okay, if you guys have caught on to it, then you'll know. I will once they come out giving more details, more specific exact details, I will share it with you guys later next week. But again, they are partially telling you right now when they plan on changing the rate. Okay? They're doing it right in the news, right before your eyes. It's up to you guys if you've caught on to it. Okay? And they're doing it around the borrowing law. Okay? That's a clue. So, and then a good article came out this morning that I want to share with you guys. All right, here's a good article. So as you guys know, Kurdistan and Baghdad kept talking about the comprehensive agreement earlier this year around September, July through September. Then they quit because they were obviously working on the borrowing law and getting all the figures and costs together for the reforms and everything. Now, one thing I stressed to you guys is that step of the comprehensive agreement, that's waiting on the rate change, okay? Because it has the HCL inside of it. Part of that is the HCL, okay? And Article 140. That's the Kurdistan dues, okay? So HCL is not necessarily the Kurdistan dues. That's going to be given out to all the citizens within the country, but a portion of it's for the Kurdistan region, okay? So part of the HCL is within this. But either way, all of this is post-rate change. That's why it's still outstanding, and that's why they stopped talking about it. Now, notice how as the borrowing law is coming to an end and the president's about to sign off on the borrowing law, notice how they bring this back and it shows its face, okay? Kurdistan region ready to submit all its oil to Baghdad if given $753 million monthly, President Barzani. So Kurdistan is saying they're in full compliance, ready to submit oil to Baghdad if they're given their monthly dues. Kurdistan Regional President Barzani speaks to reporters during a news conference after the presidencies of the Kurdistan Regional Government, the Kurdistan Region, Kurdistan Parliament, met in Erbil, Kurdistan Region, Iraq on November 15th to discuss the fiscal deficit financing bill without consent of the Kurdish causes in Baghdad. Presidencies of the Kurdistan Region Government, the Kurdistan Regional Government, and Kurdistan Parliament met on Sunday to discuss the federal loan bill passed 3 days ago by the Council of Representatives without the consent of the Kurdistan caucuses. On Thursday, the federal legislature approved the fiscal deficit bill to fill the deficit through borrowing 12 trillion Iraq dinar, some 10 billion in internal and external loans to finance the salary payments to public servants and other expenditures for the last 3 months in 2020. The Kurdish caucuses walked out of the floor debate in protest of the Kurdistan region's share from the loan. During the press conference following the meeting, Kurdistan Region President Barzani said the region is poised to hand over the whole of its oil to the federal government so that the latter transfers 900 million dinars hold on, 900 billion Iraq dinar of the region on a monthly basis. The region is ready to make agreements with the federal government on oil and all the issues, Barzani said, calling on the United Nations to play its role in resolving the outstanding issues. He said the loan law aims to punish the region's people and is against real partnership among different Iraq components. The loan law is the biggest failure to the politician who rules Iraq. The Kurdistan region cannot borrow loans from the internal banks without Baghdad's acceptance. He also refused that the deals on energy between the region with Turkey and Russia-based oil company for failing to reach an agreement with Baghdad. According to the legislation, the KRG should commit to hand over an amount of barrels of oil per day to the federal government that will be determined by the SOMO in order to receive 320 million Iraq dinar to pay its civil servants. A source within Sunday's meeting told the digital media that a delegation chaired by the KRG Talabani will head to Baghdad to meet with federal officials. The Kurdish parliament is slated to meet on Tuesday to discuss the federal loan bill in a session with the attendance of the relevant sides from the KRG Council of Ministers. In April, Baghdad cut off budget transfers to Erbil after the latter failed to send any oil to the federal government as it was required to under the 2019 federal budget law. The cutoff caused heavy burden on the cash-strapped KRG to pay its civil servants. The two sides reached a temporary agreement in early August with Baghdad. Notice how they said they reached an agreement in Baghdad, guys? Remember August was actually when they came to the U.S. to start signing those MOUs. They're kind of telling you when they reached stability, guys. In early August, where Baghdad would send 320 billion Iraq dinar in return for bringing custom procedures at the region's international border crossings under federal control. Iraq faces a serious financial shortfall due to decline in oil prices, marred by the coronavirus pandemic and the mismanagement and corruption of the country has faced since the fall of the former Ba'ath regime, as the country almost exclusively counts on oil exports to finance its salary and payroll and other expenditures. Iraq has fallen behind in paying its public sector employees since September. So as you guys go, they're clearly telling you that that's why they stopped talking about this. They had to. They had to put it on the shelf till they had everything further positioned closer to get ready for that rate change, because that's what this whole step right here is waiting and dependent on. And now they're bringing it back. And they're bringing it back at the same time the president's preparing to sign off on the borrowing law, guys. And remember, I told you, that is the last step and delay we're waiting for to see the rate change. And they're proving that to you and showing that to you through these steps and actions right here. Hey, you guys are the best. Have a great day. Take care.